Ah, the tangled webs we weave.
Okay, check this out. I have the reload speed and fire rate modifier. I have the rack attack eruption, the rack attack execute, and no other important stats on my other gear. And then my only skill points are in self-repairing system just to get down to the second tree. It only gives me health and health regen. And then also overclocked for more fire rate and reload speed. And then my only other skill point is in the action skill for rack attack.
Fly!
Wait a second. What's going on, y'all? It's David David, and I am so excited to bring you guys this video. I spent hours and hours farming for the gear for this, and I spent even longer testing the interactions myself, and I'm so happy to tell you all about this crazy neat function that I've been abusing with the new Mayhem 4 Maliwan takedown guns. With the new RYCE eruption, once your gun overheats, during the reload animation, you release projectiles that deal damage and debuff your enemies. The current version that I have sends out 8 projectiles that each debuff by 20% and they stack. So if all 8 hit the same target, that target takes an extra 160% damage. If you have the 10 projectile one, you can debuff them for an extra 200% damage. The best part is, you can cancel the animation and send out the projectiles again. You can do this by swapping guns, but that way it gives you an unnecessary long animation before you send the projectiles out again. Here are the best ways to do it. You can either open and close your menu really fast or menu cancel, or you can do my ways, rack attack canceling and grenade canceling. These animation cancels are by far the most efficient ways to do this and get the most out of your damage and debuffs. Also, the new execute pistol from the Maliwan takedown update has a stacking debuff of 50% per one emptied clip reload. Since it's stacking, you can debuff the enemy with 2 reloads, meaning they take 200% damage, and 3 reloads, meaning they take 250% damage, and so on. So now you're probably wondering, why are you so excited about this? What's so good about it? Well, this is amazing because the debuffs on the eruption and the execute stack with other debuffs to do even more damage. With my pioneered support Flak build, you can stack a total of 4 unique debuffs on your enemies that total up to them taking up to a total of 1040% damage. That's an extra 940% damage of debuffs, and it applies to not just damage from you, but damage from your party as well, meaning everyone does insane damage. This is by far the best and most OP Flak support build out there right now for any content, especially Mayhem 4. I believe that this is literally a game-breaking discovery, and I'm super happy that I can share this with you guys. If you're curious about how the amplifications and the debuffs work, I made a spreadsheet that shows the debuff percentages broken down, and I'll leave a link to that in the description below. I'll give you a rundown of the build in the order to do this, so you too can be able to debuff your enemies to make them take 1040% damage. Keep in mind, this build is an updated version of my already existing Flak support guide, so you can find the rest of the gear that I don't mention here in that video. First, you want to have a RYCE eruption for the overheat animation debuff. A servos execute because that gun also debuffs enemies when you empty the clip and TD your check at the enemy. An its piss grenade for the 20% bonus damage debuff. And finally, a gun that has the Beastmaster anointment of enemies damaged by rack attack take 100% increased damage for a short time. This is by far the most important one that you want to have. It's notably easier to debuff stack if you have this anointment on your debuff guns, the eruption and the execute. Now this isn't very practical for mobbing and bossing because the debuffs don't last long enough, but I have devised a good alternative to stacking debuffs from my Flak video. So for the gameplay, when I'm mobbing, I like to rack attack first because it's quick and causes the targets to take double damage. Then I like to prep my eruption to get it to overheat and toss nades while I'm doing so. And then animation cancel the overheat with another rack attack to reapply the rack debuff on top of the eruption debuff. I then like to animation cancel the next overheat with an It's Piss grenade, and then rinse and repeat between rack attack cancels and grenade cancels. I have an It's Piss with the action skill regeneration anoint, so this works pretty much indefinitely. If you're running low on rack attack uses or grenades, you can swap to the execute and debuff that way by emptying your clip entirely and TDR chucking at the enemies. For bossing, it's a bit harder, but I normally like to rack attack first, empty my execute clip and TDR chuck, and then swap to my eruption to get the overheat debuff off and grenade cancel the animation, and then swap to my execute and rack attack to restart the whole cycle over again. This takes a crazy amount of practice, but once you get the hang of it, it becomes second nature, so go on out there and debuff those enemies. If you like the video, please leave me a like, because this took an insane amount of time to get the gear and to test it, and please do not hesitate to drop me a comment below with questions or your thoughts or whatever you want to say, because I reply to every single comment across all my videos. I want to thank my homie Doc Stockton for farming these crazy guns with me on PS4. I'll leave a link to his Twitch channel down below. That's going to do it for me. Thank you all so much for watching to the end. I'll check you all in the next video. See ya.
Opposites attracted, magnetic and irreplaceable. Picture perfect, photogenic, doubts diminish. Yes, I'm finished acting like nobody has my back. Girl, you told me that I'ma keep you steady on your path, so I'm no